Do not be anxious about anything. That's easily said. So do not be anxious. Do not be anxious, number 3. How you doing with that? Worry's not helping you at all, by the way. Worry is not changing anything. What worry does is it allows you to experience every painful thing you can, whether you have to go through it or not. What worry does is steal the joy out of things that ought to be joyful. And it doesn't just steal the joy out of it for you, it steals the joy out of it for the people around you too. When all we do is complain and worry and stress and we're anxious instead of being childlike. And then Paul seems to know that we would have to exchange our anxiety for something. Because we're not just giving up our anxiety for nothing, amen? I mean, you'd have to make me an offer I can't refuse. You'd have to give me an alternative because anxiety is what we do best. I am a worrier by nature. Did you know that? Does that make sense to you? Do I seem like a worrier to you? No? That's awesome. Good. Because I've always understood that there's supposed to be a facade between you and me. Yeah. My goal is always to let my artificial self come through. What I'd like is for you all to leave each Sunday and go, wow, that guy has no problems. Yeah, I'm a worrier by nature. I haven't always been, although I come from a long line of worriers. But the older I get, the more I've learned to be a worrier. And I have acquired the skill. And I'm actually very effective at it. Very, very good at it. And so I worry about a lot of things. And I realize that worrying steals away your joy, steals away your peace, steals away your ability to live in the moment. I don't know how many of you suffer from worry and anxiety, but you're always projecting into the next thing that must need your attention. So no matter how good it is at this moment, you're always anticipating the next. Because we're a remedial culture. I don't know if you know that. We're a remedial culture. We're taught that maturity is dealing with what's broken. You know, somebody taught us that instead of dealing with what's good. And so some of us have learned that lesson. And so Paul seems to know that we'll have to trade it. And so then he says, don't be anxious about anything, but in everything through prayer and thanksgiving, make your requests known to God. Here's what I'd like you to do instead of worry. Number 4, pray. And I know, we've made our way through this sermon and you were hoping for a bigger payoff than that. Amen? I mean, you were hoping at the end I'd say something, you'd go, yeah, I didn't know that. Oh, pray. Wow. Ha. Thanks, Copernicus. You're breaking some new ground up there. It's interesting to me. I know people who have committed their lives to meditation. They have learned that to meditate, to quiet your heart and mind, breathe in, breathe out, empty your mind of all anxiety, actually physiologically is beneficial to do. Did you know that? And I think, isn't that interesting, that we would probably go, oh, wow, maybe I'll learn to meditate. Maybe I'll just get quiet and I'll just focus on something and I'll just let my blood pressure drop. We know that meditation actually physiologically affects us. It changes us. And yet God said, why don't you quiet your heart and quiet your mind and know that I'm listening? I don't just need you to find quiet in your own heart and soul. I want you to talk to me. And I'll not only hear your words, I'll hear the groanings of your heart. I'll intercede with you. And I invite you to this space anytime you want it. I invite you to come and to lay down your worry and your fear and your stress. I invite you to pray. There's research being done now about how prayer affects your brain. Did you know this? There's about 20 years of research now that suggests that when someone prays, it physiologically changes the way your brain works. Did you know that? Are you aware of that? It's great research out there. Some doctors go as far as to say that prayer actually promotes healing of the mind and body. Not everybody agrees on that. But there is some scientific evidence that suggests the changes in your brain actually make it favorable for your body to heal. That prayer actually works. That you actually are invited to pray instead of worry, to exchange one for the other.